We're Jill and John Nelson, the Geezers, and it seems like we're always on the go. This time we're at Bulltown Campground in West Virginia. It's an Army Corps of Engineers facility on Burnsville Lake with some big-time Civil War history and a little bit of outer space legend. We'll get back to that alien stuff a little later, but first we want to introduce you to the campground with its 6 loops and 204 sites. 4 of the loops have campsites directly on this beautiful man-made reservoir. This is our site here at Bulltown Campground on Burnsville Lake in Burnsville, West Virginia. The weather's turned a little bit chilly. It's in the mid-30s this morning. It's almost end of April. We're in Loop F, and all the loops here start from A through F, and from C through F they have a lot of full hookups. We have full hookups here. And until about May, it's first come, first serve. So we just came in and drove around, and you pick a spot, and then you go back to the kiosk in the front of the place and fill out a form and drop it in the box. So you put your name, number, and everything. So we picked a pretty good spot, I think. As you can see, a lot of the sites are right along the water. Pretty good sized lake. Lots of fishing. A few of the loops also have areas that no pets are allowed. This loop F doesn't allow pets. It's a very beautiful setting, but there is practically no cell service, no internet. So take that into consideration. We'll take a little walk around. That's Loop E. And you can buy Wi-Fi here, depending on how long you want it. It's not cheap. I think we bought it for 3 days. It was $20. And you can buy it for longer periods. And it's not too bad. We were able to download a few movies, watch a few movies and TV. Right now, not too busy. They just opened mid-April. Get a little better look at the layout here. The sites are sort of graveled, and the road in isn't bad. The road into the campground is kind of hilly, and because you are in the mountains here, so be aware of that. Over here in Loop E, there's quite a nice little playground here. Pretty big. And they have these little cool little springy cars. And there's also an extra parking lot in the back here for people to park their boats. Again, this is Loop E at Bulltown Campground, and these nice sites too, all along the lake. This is a very pretty site, 19. Have to make a note for that for next time. Nice tree and beautiful looking out at the lake. So you have all of these all along the water. Not sure if you can tell, but we've gone from a beautiful spring to winter, back to winter here at the end of April. It's raining and snowing, and
not a good place if you're snowbirding.
Yes, we're supposed to be snowbirding, not having snow on us. Finally got a nice sunny day after some rain and some snow flurries. Here it's a little chilly still, but at least finally a clear day. You get a little better look at how pretty this lake can be. This is Burnsville Lake at Bulltown Campground, Army Corps of Engineers here in West Virginia. Very quiet this morning. It's only about 8:30. There's some boats out in the background. Not really that much action, but nice boat launch here. But very pretty setting. It's a Friday night, and some more people are coming in. We have somebody out there fishing, and a couple more boats right down below where our campsite is. And what's nice here, if you do have a boat, as you can see, there's little posts here. You can hook up your boat. Over there they have a couple of things hooked up, posts for their boats. There's a bass boat and a couple of pontoon boats, and very convenient. Just outside the campground, about a mile or two, we have Falls Mill Overlook. We're going to get down there a little farther, but it's very pretty. You can go all the way down the bottom, and it looks like we can go and sit out on the cliff there. Well, we were just up there at the top of the overlook, and came down. There's a road that comes down off the top of that hill, and then down to here. And we're down by the waterfall. Very nice. Falls Mill. Take a little walk up there. Nobody fishing. It's a fishing place. A little closer view. There used to be a working mill along those falls there around in the 1870s, and they used it for lots of different things. They used it for grain, but they also used it to help manufacture some fabrics, wool, and cotton.
Wool and cotton, and a grist mill, and all kinds of uses. But it's long gone.
And now people just enjoy fishing along the river. I think it's supposed to be good trout fishing down there.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. We didn't get a chance to try it out. But I know what most of you are waiting for is you want to hear more about the Green Monster of Braxton County. We're going to get to him, but first we want to get to a little real history.
Down as you enter the campground, there's a little historic area from a battle from the Civil War. And we're going to take a look at the different buildings here. Just as a side note, that this sign wasn't always at this location. It was originally installed in 1937 at a little spot down the road on Highway 19, and they got special permission to move it here in 2013.
This is a site, this hill here, of a battle between Union and Confederate soldiers, and around October of 1863, the Confederate was a man named Colonel William Mudwall Jackson, and he was attacking an entrenched position of Captain William H. Mattingly, who was the Union commander of this area. This area was held by the Union, and they attacked him twice, and were turned back both times. And when Mudwall asked them to retreat, Mattingly replied, "I'll fight you till hell freezes over, and if need be, I'll retreat on the ice." This is the oldest building on the site here. It's a granary.
You can see the corn cribs inside. So the spacing was for ventilation. Keep the corn and the grain, I guess, from spoiling.
This is another older building on the property. It's a spring house, which was built over a natural spring, which provided water to the farmstead. And there is the house, built and owned by the Cunninghams.
This little end of the historic area, these are just houses that were moved. They're supposed to be representative of typical log West Virginia houses of the era in the mid-1800s. Like they might be been a little drafty, but nice. And there's somebody sitting on the scarecrows up here, sitting on the porch. None of the buildings are open right now because of COVID considerations, but hopefully in the near future we'll be able to go inside and check out some of these buildings.
Here's another old structure built around 1883 originally, and then moved here much later by the Army Corps of Engineers. One of the unique features of this house, if you'll note the chimney, it's not the traditional stone chimney that was commonly used in this area. It's called, I forget what it's called.
Wooden slats stabbed with mud.
Cat and clay, they call it. It's just wooden slats covered with mud to build the chimney with. And they don't know why it was built that way or whose idea it was, because this is not a local construction method.
Yeah, here in West Virginia, they didn't use that much, I guess.
See another Army Corps of Engineer house up here. This one is also privately owned and then purchased by the Army Corps of Engineers and moved here, one board at a time. It's originally 2 pens. The one on the left is the original pen, and the one on the right is was the newer one. And I say newer advisedly because it's probably from somewhere around the turn of the previous century. And up above there is the rest of the farmstead. These 2 buildings down here were not part of the original farmstead.
This little walkway over this creek represents part of a turnpike that used to be along this road that took you from here to a little bit north of here. And it says it was constructed from 1849 to 1858. The Weston and Gawley Bridge Turnpike. It was constructed at an average cost of $446.59 a mile. That's pretty expensive at the time, I would think. This piece of turnpike is listed as the National Park Service's National Recreation and Trail Registry. There is one more historic artifact here that you don't see that often anymore. I think it's called a payphone. You remember those.
Yeah, I've used one of those phones before, but I think it was rotary.
Probably if you got a kid down there, they wouldn't know how to work it at all. But probably the reason it's there is that the area there has very poor cell service. You can't even make a call, so you can actually pay for Wi-Fi by the day or a couple days there just to get a phone call out.
Yeah, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take you to see a couple of dams, and then we're going to get to what I know everybody's been waiting for. We're going to take you to Flatwood, West Virginia, and we're going to find out all about the Green Monster of Braxton County.
Ooh.
Scary.
This is the dam at the upper end of Burnsville Lake. Oh, it's about 30 miles north of our campsite in Bulltown. On the other side there's some water. There's another campground on the other side of this dam called Riffle Run, also run by the Army Corps of Engineers. And it has full hookups and things. This is the outflow from the dam. And it's a very popular fishing area. People fishing here. We've seen more dams on some of our trips. We're here at the Sutton Lake Dam. It's just a lake that's just down about 10 miles or so down the road from where we are at Bulltown. Little did we know that this little town of Sutton in West Virginia was an important battle area during the Civil War. It said that 10,000 Union troops came through here, and President McKinley was one of the generals that stayed here. How about that? And also it was a very important lumber town. We've seen a lot of lumber trucks and go down the roads here, so I guess it still must be very important when it comes to lumber. I think there's a big Weyerhaeuser place just down the road.
Flatwood is just a stone's throw from Sutton, and that's where we found the Monster Museum. It seems that in 1952 some local high school boys saw a fireball in the sky. As they chased it down, they came upon the so-called Green Monster of Braxton County, later to simply be called Braxy. Despite reports that it terrorized the boys and was blowing smoke out its head, eventually it was explained away as just an owl. The alien sighting nonetheless made local and national news, and later formed the basis for an episode on the History Channel's Project Blue Book.
We're here at the Green Monster Museum in Flatwood, West Virginia. It's supposed to be a monster that came in from outer space and scared the people back in 1952. This is the little museum and information center. And oh, there he is. There he is. There he is. Ah. We'll have to. Supposedly the guy came and scared people in 1952. Little shop here with all kinds of stuff. Find a t-shirt, get it. Oh, yeah. Their claim to fame.
That's enough from outer space. In fact, it's time for us to lift off to our next adventure. We're glad you could join us on this one, and we hope to see you down the road.
Stop! Stop! Stop!